You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
The Herons are champs. Yeah. Roll south to Freedom Park, rocking pink and black. Official tissue in the 305, bounty full of greats. The Battered fan with Chris and Dan dropping hot takes. Messi and the Herons start the season with a star on the crest. So 29 fan bases can cry, cause we the best. Sign homegrowns like Noah, Frey and Ruiz, replacing goats with greats. Yeah, Miles got the cheese and he called it. Freedom to dream was the backbone. From Lockhart to Miami, it feels good to be at home. Multiple times a week on YouTube and audio. Take the time to subscribe, like and share the show. So check and chat, grab your MLS cup and coming. No question about it, I'm ready to get a star again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Herons are back. Welcome everybody for three of the Battered Herons side.
What's up, man? Sorry, bro. You got a little cut off. So,
oh man, my internet. What a way to return. What a way to come back. Is my internet's lagging. First ever MLS player to win Balon. Now loading. Hopefully it loads better than my internet right now. Hello from Bolivia. Can finally join the live stream. What's going on, John from Bolivia? All right. How's the air up there? The loner. Let him win the World Cup and MVP, and Daniel will talk about your Balon d'Or take. You know what? Do you want to get into the Balon d'Or already? Because I wanted to just talk about just his performance so far, but we can get into that. Messi breaking records, all-time leading scorer in World Cup history. I thought that he would perform well at the World Cup. I thought he would be a standout. I didn't think we would see 5 goals in the first 2 matches. What do you think about Messi so far? Because it's absolutely, it's even hard to comprehend how he's still doing this at that level. Because I knew he's amazing. He's killing it in the MLS, but around the world, they're like, it's the MLS quality. He's doing it at the highest level.
Yeah, man. It's look, I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. He should have got a red card in the first game. Let's be honest. But other than that, let's talk about his performance. His performance has been unbelievable, right? He's been unbelievable.
Before you keep going, since then, because when I first saw that, I agreed that was a red card. But I've seen so many other examples during this World Cup where things like that weren't called a red, that I think it's just the way they're calling it, period. I don't think it was such a messy thing. I think it was just for some reason, they're just letting it go. And I like it that they're letting it go in this World Cup, because there's been a couple of occasions where I've seen some plays and I'm like, well, I should have been a red, and they haven't given the red. So I think it might just be the way they're calling it this year.
Yeah, I mean, no, look, I agree. I've seen at least 3 or 4 other plays similar where they haven't called it. So it might just be the way that they're calling it. But historically, I mean, those are cards, whether it's a yellow or a red or whatever. It should be. But let's talk about his performance, because if not, I'm going to get completely destroyed for the next 20 minutes. And I know that people are saying it because of Uruguay, but it's not that. I mean, I'm watching all the games. I'm going for my country, but I'm watching all the games, and I can be non-biased when it comes to talking about the World Cup and Messi. So, yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's been really, really good. But he just seems to be at the right place at the right time. And not only is he at the right place at the right time, but then he finishes. He's able to finish the plays. And yeah, what he did against Algeria was unbelievable. A hat trick. Yesterday, of course, he misses the penalty, but then he comes back and
could have been another hat trick, man.
It should have, and he had a couple of other opportunities as well. But I think the play we need to talk about is the second play, because it goes to show you how much he really wants it, because he was fighting for that ball, trying to get to that ball, and then he finally got to it and was able to score the second goal that put them in front definitively. But yeah, I mean, he's playing really, really good right now. Obviously, he's surrounded by a lot of talent with Argentina, and that helps him out as well because he doesn't have to come down and play as much defense. He plays a very similar role like he does with Inter Miami. He kind of hangs around the top, waits for them to recuperate the ball, gives it to him, and then he makes the decision of what goes on. And I don't know if you can remember, but that first goal he scored yesterday, Danny, was very similar to the goals that he scored with Inter Miami, where it's that center kind of back to the top of the box and he's coming back and he finds a place to put it in. So, yeah, man, he's doing really good, man. He's doing really good.
My internet is lagging. You know what's one of my favorite things about that second goal that Messi had is the assist that should have been, because it ended up being a goal, but that ball that he delivered to Julian Alvarez was beautiful on a dime, the way he just curved it right into his path, and Julian Alvarez wasn't able to convert, which I'm glad because Messi ended up scoring. But damn, that pass was just such a beautiful pass, the way he kind of just led Julian Alvarez right into the spot, and nobody talks about it because obviously he ended up scoring, but the way he creates for others on top of just scoring it's remarkable. And on Twitter I said that the conversation or the debate should have been dead a long time ago because it's been a dumb debate after a while. But I feel like after this World Cup, like even Ronaldo fans that are the only ones at this point that are saying that it's a debate, because other than that nobody really thinks it's a debate. They don't even have a leg to stand on at this point. Like no one has any reason to say otherwise. This guy is the greatest of all time, and you should just appreciate the greatness you're watching instead of finding reasons to say, "Oh my God, it's fixed. Oh my God, his teammates are better." Like what? Shut up.
Look, man, I'm glad that you got into that conversation because I want to point something out about Ronaldo. And of course, I'm not a Ronaldo supporter. I don't think he's the greatest. I think Messi's better than him. But I do want to point something out. Ronaldo is not playing his position. Cristiano Ronaldo's a winger. Has always been a winger.
Yeah, but at his age, he can't anymore.
I understand that. But you put him as a 9, and he's not going to give you he's not going to perform the responsibilities that you need as a 9. If you watch that game, that first game that they played, he wasn't dropping back and checking to the ball. He's kind of just waiting behind the defenders, trying to make a diagonal run. And that's not what a 9 does. You need to come to the ball. You need to man the ball. You need to, play off of it, be like a pivot, play off of the 9. And that's not his game. So I don't expect him to do much if he continues to play that position. I mean, look, Messi's doing it the right way, man. Messi's doing it the right way.
No, Joel's saying Ronaldo hasn't been a winger in 15 years. I don't know about 15 years.
Look,
he
still plays as a winger.
United.
But he still plays as a winger in Saudi Arabia. What are you talking about?
I'd be lying to you. Life. I couldn't Manchester United. He a little time been strong. He's old. Doing but the message, I think has been put to. I don't think that has any legs at all. So we can move on from that. Now, what we started with, somebody in the comments said about the Balon d'Or. I said before the season started that there was a small chance that we might actually see an MLS player win the Balon d'Or. And I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna leave for like 2 minutes to fix my internet because I know what's wrong with it. I just didn't want to stop, but whatever. I'm gonna try. Before the season started, I said if Messi wins the domestic, which is the MLS, the Continental, which is the CCC, and the World Cup, I think he has a great chance of winning the World Cup, especially the way he's playing at the World Cup right now. But the fact that he didn't win the Continental, the CCC, he has to keep playing the way he is right now, scoring braces every game in order to have a chance. Because I don't think that there's any chance that he wins the Ballon d'Or unless he scores like 12, 13 goals in the World Cup and they win it all. And even then, and they have to win the MLS Cup. And even then, I think it'll be difficult because I don't think the MLS gets enough respect. I think he needs the AC to that. I'm gonna go fix. I'll be back.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, talking about what about Balon d'Or. I mean, look, I agree. I think he needs to win the World Cup. If he wins the World Cup, he's definitely in the top 2 or 3 to win the Balon d'Or. I don't see anybody else off the top of my head who has had a impactful season enough to unseat him if Messi and Argentina win the World Cup. So I believe that if he continues to play the way he's playing and they make it to the finals and they win, he could be a shoo-in for the Ballon d'Or. And that would be the first time that an MLS player actively playing in the MLS wins the Ballon d'Or. So it would be huge for the league. Obviously, would be huge for Messi to win it at 39 years old. He turns 39 tomorrow. And yeah, so I think I think he is in the front seat right now to win the Ballon d'Or if he continues to play how he's playing. So let's get into let's get into De Paul, because I know that a lot of folks want us to talk about De Paul. But I'll answer this question really quickly before Danny gets back on. Do you think Messi will want to reach the level of Pelé and try to win 3 World Cups for Argentina like Pelé for Brazil? And obviously, yeah, I think every player who plays for their national team dreams about winning the World Cup. And look, I know that Pelé might have more World Cups than Messi, but I do think that what we've seen Messi do, the longevity of his career and how he's been able to do it at every single stop that he's been at, clearly puts him above Maradona and above Pelé to take the GOAT title of greatest of all time in the history of the sport. So it's been really interesting. But let's get into other topics, because we've been talking about Messi now for 12 minutes, and I do want to get into the other players that I was reading here the comment by Loner where he says he already has 8. Yeah, but he still wants more. I mean, if you're playing in the game, you still want to get more. So let's talk about De Paul, because De Paul has seemed to have woken up, right? He seemed to have woken up, and he plays a little bit differently when he plays with Argentina than when he plays with Inter Miami. Obviously, at Inter Miami, he's one of the focal points of the team because he is a DP. He makes a lot of money. And because of that, obviously, there is a lot of scrutiny amongst De Paul to play fantastic every time he steps on the field for Inter Miami. But we know that he is not the type of player that is the go-to or who is going to, be that standout. He's more of a workhorse. He's more of a role player on Argentina, and he's showing that over the first couple of games, playing 2 great games for Argentina. I know a lot of Inter Miami fans are probably wondering, well, where is that De Paul when he puts on the pink and black? But I mean, I'm here to tell you that, look, he's just a different player when he plays for Argentina. And I'm not talking about he's a different player physically or a different player mentally. It's just the role that he plays. It's the role that he plays for Argentina, where he's not the focal point. He doesn't have to be the guy that gets the ball from the back, takes it to the front. You already have guys like that. You already have Alexis McAllister. You already have Enzo Fernandez. You already have Leandro Paredes, who came in the game yesterday. So you have that type of player, and we're talking about De Paul. We're talking about how you already have that type of player on Argentina, where when De Paul is in Miami, he's kind of the focal point. He's the guy that's supposed to connect the defenders to the forwards, because you're looking for him to distribute from the back. But in Argentina, you have guys like McAllister, you have guys like Fernandez, where he doesn't have to be that guy. He can play a more free kind of game, And that obviously is huge for him, because if he doesn't have that responsibility of having to be the distributor from the back, of having to be that pivot, then he's able to be more free. He's able to connect with Messi. He's able to connect with the other guys. And look, like everybody's been saying in the chat, yeah, he is a different player with Argentina, and he's been playing fantastic over these first 2 games.
He has what I thought was one of the best, if not the best, pass of the World Cup. I think it was on the second or third goal for Messi in the first match, where he had the hat trick, where he had 4 or 5 options around him, and Messi was top of the box, and he was, I don't know, he was on his own side of the pitch, I believe, or near to it at least. And the way he passed and just dissected that defense, that ball cut through the middle of like 4 or 5 players, was absolutely crazy. But the reason that De Paul has been getting so much crap, from, at least for me, is because I felt like defensively he's not giving a lot of effort. And like you said, in Miami, he's expected to do a lot more of that. And Casemiro isn't going to give you that defense. And we'll get into Casemiro in a second also, because I think we need to talk about him, since he's going to be a Heron soon. But I think because De Paul has been given so much more freedom recently from Miami with Bright back there, I think he's looked better, because in the attack he's looked so much better. It's defensively where I think that he's lacked. His contributions have kind of taken a dip. But man, that pass, where I think it was the second or the third goal for Messi in that first match, it's a thing of beauty. When I saw that, I was like, my God, this is amazing. It's amazing. And I think that he's played well, like you said, but it also helps the players that he has around him.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I know we're gonna wait to talk about Casemiro, but I do believe that when he gets here, it's gonna unleash De Paul a little bit more, because he won't have that second responsibility of making sure he's back to defend. You're gonna have, and I think that when he comes,
but he got that with Bright.
Yeah, but come on, man, you can't compare. And I think now with Casemiro, they might play 2. They might play 2, like a double pivot.
Again, back to a double pivot. Because this is the thing. I'm not saying that Bright is anywhere near the level of Casemiro. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as far as Rodrigo De Paul goes, his responsibility when Bright was back there is going to be the same as when Casemiro's back there. I think they're going to give Rodrigo De Paul the freedom. And so I think that that's good. And again, the loner, I'm not comparing the two. I understand that there's levels. What I'm saying is, as far as what Rodrigo De Paul has to do, the responsibility doesn't change, because they're going to give that defensive responsibility to Bright or Casemiro. Now, my issue is, and we'll get into Casemiro now, I guess, Casemiro isn't the slightest of foot anymore. In the MLS, it's a counter-attacking league. Like, the majority of times you're playing against a team that's buckling down and wanting to beat you on the counter, and that's where Miami suffers. Casemiro doesn't have the best of pace. He's not that guy anymore. And on top of not being that guy, he's going to be the lone pivot possibly if they put him. My hope is that they keep Bright in there and they have Casemiro playing a little higher up, kind of like the Segovia role. But if they have him back there as the lone CDM, I'm worried, because I think that he's going to get caught out of position quite a bit on the counter. And he has not looked great so far, even though Brazil in general hasn't necessarily looked great so far in the World Cup. And that's a worry for me.
Yeah, I agree. I understand where you're coming from with that, but I also think that the MLS is not as fast of a game as it is on the world stage, as it is in the World Cup.
Fair.
So I do believe, since the pace of the game is maybe 1, 2, 3 steps behind of what they're currently playing, I do believe that he'll be able to show off his skill set a little bit more when he gets to Miami and gets comfortable with how the league is. He's going to have a very similar role to what Busquets had, which was play the 5, help out in the attack. And I know that they're not the same player. They're not, because historically, Casemiro is more of a destroyer in the middle, whereas Busquets was more of a
creator. You can create.
Not creator, but he's more of a finesse 5. He's more of a finesse 5, where he's looking for the pass and all that. But I do think that what this team needs is more of a destroyer in the middle. I think Casemiro is the right person, because you have players up top that can get you the counter. You have Messi up top that can help out with the attack. And what this team was really, really needing and where they were getting exposed was on the counter against them, where they were defending with sometimes only 2, sometimes only 3 because they were getting caught up so high. So I do believe that if Casemiro plays that kind of deep 5 role, that he's definitely going to help us out a lot. Not only that, but he gives you a little bit more trust in the midfield, right? I think you can trust him a little bit more than you can trust Bright because of the history that he's given to the game.
And his accuracy with his balls, his passing is underrated. He's not Boosie level at all, not even close, but he's much better than Bright as far as distributing the ball. So in that aspect, I agree. We can trust him a lot more. Now, I saw somebody put, look at Casemiro's heat map this past season. He was all over the place. Yeah, but in Manchester United, like they were, because the skill level is so much lower in MLS, a lot of teams resort to the whole playing the counter, defend and play the counter. You don't see that. You'll see it, but you don't see it as much in the Premier League. And I think because of that, you've seen it. If you watch Inter Miami on a weekly basis, you see how often we're running back and trying to defend the counter because that's what teams do. But that's my only word with Casemiro. But Mr. Spider Pig, interesting question. Who's faster, Casemiro or Boosie? I would assume Casemiro because Boosie was very, very slow. But I don't know. I really don't know. But you saw what a bad spot sometimes Busquets would find them in when he was trying to get back. I remember there was one against Orlando where he got caught on the counter and he had a foul that they didn't call. And Orlando fans were complaining about it for fucking months about it. Should have been a penalty. But, you know, he was caught often in bad spots because of that. So that's my only worry. But I do believe that Casemiro is world class and that in MLS, he'll find his footing and he'll be fine. But he hasn't looked great so far in the World Cup. Shout out to Rique. Now, before I keep going, I want to make sure I address this. We got Giannis, Heat Nation stand up. Absolutely. If you haven't already, Battered Heat fans, Solana and I had a reaction video last night when the news broke. So make sure that you check that out if you are a Miami Heat fan. And also, up until last week, I was doing episodes for the World Cup on the Battered Soccer fans. Solana even joined me for a couple of them, and we were doing that. Now, I went on vacation to Disney, and then I got sick, which I'm still sick. So I had to take a little break. But after today, where the second round of matches is done, we're going to start that up again tomorrow morning. So if you want to hear some more World Cup talk on a daily basis, we get guests on every morning. So there's the QR code. Make sure you scan that, and we'll be back tomorrow talking World Cup. And for anybody wondering about Chris is still traveling around the world, but he told me that he will be back later this week. So he'll finally show his face once again.
But don't lie to people. He's not. People think when you say he's traveling all over the world that he's going to be like in Japan or in Indonesia or Thailand. When Danny says he's traveling all over the world, he's saying like Chris went to like Ocala and then he went to Sarasota and then he's traveling the world in Florida probably. I don't know.
You know what? That's more than I get to do. All I ever get to do is go around Epcot, and that's about it.
Hey, man, that's a lot of people don't even get to go around Epcot. So just be thankful that you're able to go around the world somewhere.
Let me tell you something. And I was surprised. Last week I went to Disney. I've never seen it so empty. I don't know what it was last week. It was probably pure coincidence, but it was really empty. And have you gone to Disney World recently?
Yeah, I have.
I went to Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom usually sucks, but we spent the full day in Animal Kingdom. And I went on that Avatar ride for the first time ever, Flight of Passage or something like that.
It's awesome.
I've never ridden a ride as good as that one because although it's virtual and you got those glasses on, I've gone Soarin' and all those rides. I've never been on a ride that I literally felt like it was real, like I was there. Like they put you to sit, like if you're on top of one of those banshee things. And they even have like where your legs lay, it almost opens and closes a little bit so that you almost feel like the animal is breathing. Like absolutely amazing. If you guys ever go to Disney World and find yourselves in Animal Kingdom, make sure you do Flight of Passage. Now the line is usually like 2 or 3 hours. We only had to wait 30 minutes. Like I said, for some reason Disney World was basically empty last week. But absolutely amazing. First time I ever rode that ride. It was, man, out of this world. So that's my random Disney news for this way. That
I
ride is
agree.
next level. Yeah.
I agree. That ride is unbelievable. But dude, it was empty because you went on the hottest week of the year so far.
But people didn't know that, did they? It
No.
was, look, and it rained every day between like 5:30 and 6. It was like a half-hour rain, and then it was just last week was an awesome week. I mean, I was sick the whole time, which really ruined it for me a little bit. But outside of that, it was such an awesome week. Do you think the ticket prices go up because of Casemiro? No, Casemiro doesn't hold weight like that. If Neymar comes, maybe, and even then, I think we're good for like at least another year for ticket price increases because the stadium hasn't been selling out the way everybody thought it would.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. And yeah, I agree. I don't think he moves the needle in terms of ticket prices going on. I mean, maybe they'll go up the first game, right? Because everybody's going to be
It'll
excited.
be Leagues Cup probably.
Right, and everybody will be excited that he'll be on the team and that he might play. So maybe the first couple of games while he's here, they'll be a little bit inflated. But if you haven't if you haven't had to spend money for this World Cup, you have nothing to worry about because man, the tickets for this World Cup have been insane. And
I haven't been able to go to any games, which is fucking ridiculous, man. I really thought that I would go to some games.
I will tell you this, man. If you would have gone to a game, what would you have worn?
Depends. Am I going to see my teams? Look, if I'm going to see Colombia, I'm rocking a Colombia jersey. USA, I love America. I'm rocking the USA jersey.
Let's say you would have gone to one of the 2 Uruguay games. What would you have worn?
I would have worn probably my Heat jersey. No, depends. If I like Uruguay, I would have maybe worn my Real Madrid Valverde jersey. Because I have no allegiance to Uruguay, but I like Valverde, so I would have rocked my Real Madrid Valverde jersey.
That's good, man, because let me tell you, I went to both games, and the one thing that I didn't like about the World Cup, great experience. Took my son to the game on Sunday for Father's Day. That was great. I was out there at the first game last Monday. I do not like it when fans who have no allegiance, you're a neutral fan, and you wear a jersey of a team that is not playing, and you do it purposely because you're looking for something out of one of the other two fan bases. And I'm telling you, because there was a lot of folks with Argentina jerseys. There was a lot of folks with Colombia jerseys. There was a lot of folks from all over South America that were at the stadium, and they were purposefully looking for trouble with the Uruguay fans. And if you're going to the World Cup for that, like, why are you spending $1,000 on tickets to go cause trouble for other teams' fan bases? I just don't agree with that.
Well, I don't know about causing trouble. Like, I wouldn't wear one of my jerseys to other countries. I wouldn't do that. Although I have been known to do stuff like that, because I remember I went to a Dolphins-Falcons preseason game with my Jets jersey on, and that was a good time. But now that I'm older and more mature, I wouldn't do it. But I understand why people want to go to the World Cup and represent their country. Like, if they go to a fan fest, they go and they rep their country. They're going to the World Cup. I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. Now, if they go and they start taunting the other teams, then I think it's silly.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's exactly. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video. There was a guy, not even Argentinian, because you can tell that he's not Argentinian. He was wearing the Argentina jersey and literally trying to bait other fans during the game. And it's like, why do that?
I don't know why people do any of that stuff, man. People,
why spend so much money to do that? That's what I don't understand.
Some people just find joy in trying to bring other people down.
I don't know, man.
It's a fact. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but some people just like to bring joy. That's what they get to get them going. Look at online. Look on social media. People get excited just to just be able to trash somebody. You accomplished something, but this is why you accomplished it. It's not really that big of an accomplishment because of this. And people are just dying to bring other people down. It's like almost they make themselves feel better by bringing other people down. I don't get it, but I mean, it just is what it is. But what do you want FIFA to do about it? You say you don't like it because you don't like the World Cup because of it. But I'm sure it happens every World Cup.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the fix would be.
I don't think
I
there is
mean,
one.
if it was me, I would go, you know me, I'm extreme. I'm drastic.
you are.
I would go to extremes and I would say, if you're wearing a jersey of a team that's not playing, I'll make you take it off. That's what I would do. Similarly to what they're doing today with, have you seen what's going on with Iran and the flag?
But no, with the flag,
So-
no, I haven't heard anything.
So with everything that's going on with Iran right now, with the war, all that stuff that's going on with the U.S., one of the biggest things that I guess has been going on with the Iran fans in the World Cup is the Iran fans are bringing back the old Iran flag that had the lions on them, where the new Iran or the current Iran regime has a different flag. So what FIFA's doing, Danny, is the fans who are bringing this old flag to the stadium and waving it, FIFA is taking it away from them. They're not allowed to wave that flag in the stadium. So the fact that they aren't allowed to wave the flag in the stadium, I think is insane. And I think, Danny, I think you froze. But yeah, I think it's absolutely insane that they're doing those types of things. They did this. They did the same thing with, I saw with like an Israeli flag. I just don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, man. But yeah, just to let you know.
Well, I wasn't aware of the flag being taken away. I do think that it's crazy how the extremes that FIFA goes to protect their brand. I don't know if you saw that some of the employees, like if they're wearing Nike shoes and they're working at the event, they have to cover the brand, like the Nike check, for example, with black tape. It's wild. I don't know if there's really a solution to people wearing a certain jersey. Now, I'm sure you can't go into the barras for those countries with those jerseys, right? I'm sure they do that, but no.
Nah, because there's really no, and maybe this was just how Uruguay did it, but there was no one section for like Uruguay fans. There was for Cabo Verde.
Yeah, well, it's a lot smaller, so they need to put them together for sure.
Correct. So, but yeah, that was one of the things that I just didn't like. But man, let's talk about Dane Sinclair. What a World Cup he's having, right?
So we've covered Messi, absolute GOAT. Do you think he wins the Golden Boot?
I mean, he's got 5 goals, and they play Jordan next, so he might get another hat trick.
The thing is, I think it's going to be who goes further in the tournament, him, Mbappe, or Haaland, because those three are on a tear, and I think it's going to be like whoever plays more games might end up with the Golden Boot, because Messi 5 goals in 2 games is crazy, but man, Mbappe has 4 in 2, Haaland has 4 in 2, like those guys are showing up. You figure that somebody like CR7 would see that and want to show up also, but the man, terrible. But I think it's going to come down to whoever plays the longest, whoever goes furthest. And thank you, Mr. Spider, and don't forget about Harry Kane, which, by the way, should have only had 1 goal because that PK. I think they gave him a second PK because the keeper came off his line. Come on.
He really didn't come off his line, man.
No, I didn't think he came off his line. Whatever. Danny, is it true that the Whitecaps are going to Vegas now? I haven't heard any breaking news about that, but maybe. So Dane St. Clair. Sorry. Great World Cup, like you said. Balling out.
Yeah, he has 0 goals against.
There you go. Clean sheets. You know what? That we need something there. I think I told you I was a Dane Sinclair. What's the word? I forget. I'm flipping on the word, but defender. I was a Dane Sinclair's defender just because I felt like you should give him time until the World Cup break. But he hasn't played better. He's not playing in the World Cup. I really don't want to see him back. At least not as a starter. At this point, I'm okay with Rocco Blacco. I'm okay with bringing somebody else. We are on June 23rd. Our first game back is July 22nd. So we have a month to figure that out. So hopefully we can figure that out. But yes, Dane St. Clair. We've talked about Messi. We've talked about De Paul. We've talked about Casemiro. And then the 4th Heron that's in the World Cup, Dane St. Clair. They haven't scored a goal on him yet, so we'll see. And Rick K saying supporter. No, I'm not a Dink Sinclair fan, so I wouldn't call myself a supporter. But I was a defender because everybody's jumping on him, and I thought that just give him time. Didn't work out, but give him time. All right. So one bit of news that did break during this time was Inter Miami. Well, two actually. Two. One you broke, which was the Falcon news, where you said that he might be on his way to Nacional, so he might be leaving the Herons. I don't know if you want to touch on that before we move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, what I heard from my contacts in Uruguay was that his agent is shopping him around. One of the options is Nacional from Uruguay. But I'll tell you this, Danny, Nacional just signed another center back yesterday. So if they don't move, or if they don't figure it out, they still need a couple more center backs because they didn't have a great first half of the season, and defense was one of their tough spots. So, but I'll tell you, I mean, I know that he was offered to Nacional. I know that they were negotiating with Maxi's agent in terms of trying to see, what the fee would be and what he would want to make. I can tell you this: he just had a baby, maybe a few months ago, 6-7 months ago. So maybe wanting to go back to Uruguay and be closer to family is one of the things that he's looking for. I don't see it as a bad thing if Inter Miami gets rid of him, because I don't think he's been that great this season. So that's definitely one big piece of news, because up until this season he was a fan favorite. I mean, he was one of the reasons that Inter Miami lifted the cup last season, and he just didn't have a great start to the season, and Gonzalo Lujan kind of beat him out to the position, and it looks like that Ojos favors Lujan over Maxi Falcon. So that's the bit of news that we have on Maxi Falcon, but we have more news that you got to let the folks know.
Yeah, but real quick, the Falcon thing. Last year, he also started slow. He picked it up during the Club World Cup, and then the second half of the season, he was just killing it. Again, he started slow again. I don't know if he's going to pick it up in the second half of the year if he comes back. But that's interesting. Now, one other thing, and I mentioned it earlier. If you enjoy hearing about the World Cup, we come on every morning. So tomorrow morning, if you have nothing else to do and you want to hear more World Cup talk, I got the QR code there. Battered Soccer Fans is the channel. Make sure that you jump on there. Every morning we're talking about the World Cup the day before and everything going on. The reason I bring that up is because I did want to ask you a question real quick, because you brought up Falcon just had a baby. And it's something that I was going to bring up tomorrow, but I guess I'll ask you now because it just came to my mind. What do you think about the whole Doku? The whole Doku leaving for his baby's birth and some people killing him for doing that. Now there's two ways to look at it, because he's left because he had a newborn. He wants to be there for his newborn. Cucho Hernandez for Colombia had a newborn on June 1st, and he's yet to meet the baby because he didn't want to leave the World Cup. Now I have my opinions on the two. I don't think they're exactly the same, but what's your opinion on the whole Doku thing?
Was it his first baby?
I believe so, yes. I think for both of them it was their first baby.
Then it might be understandable. It might be understandable that he left. If it was his second, I would say, what are you doing, man? This is a World Cup. But I mean, it's understandable, especially, I mean, since I'm about to have a baby as well in a month and a half. I plan on taking my 2 weeks from my job
Maternity.
to be with my wife and to be with the baby. But look, man, you can't. These players, at the end of the day, they're human beings, right? So you have to understand that. Yes, we look up to them. We might think of them as robots because they play 50 games a year and we pay money to watch them and we watch them on TV. But these guys are human beings at the end of the day, and they're entitled to be with their families, to be with their wives. And look, maybe he shouldn't have planned on getting her pregnant 9 months before the World Cup started. Maybe he should have waited a month or two, or hurried up a month or two so it would have came a little bit earlier. But I don't think you can fault him for wanting to go be with his family. Obviously, it goes to show you the way that a lot of futboleros think, right? With the South American guys, you're talking about Cucho. he didn't want to go. So
I
the
think it's
question
different,
is, why is it different?
I'll tell you why it's different. Doku is probably the second, third best player on Belgium. He has the clout. He knows he's gonna get called up again. Like he doesn't have to cherish this opportunity, even though it's the World Cup, so that's fair. And we didn't know if he was gonna get called up to the national team. We thought maybe, but it wasn't a foregone conclusion. Gucho's still trying to earn his spot. Now, luckily he stayed, right? And he had that moment at the end of that first game. But he's still like, I'm happy to be here. I didn't think I was gonna get called up. I'm glad I did. Maybe I won't be here again. Like he has to be a lot more careful with everything he does because he's not a sure thing for the Colombian national team. Hey babe, I really want to be there, but like this opportunity. We didn't know if I was gonna have it. I need to stay here. I can't wait to see the baby. Let me FaceTime. Whereas Ndoku is like, no, fuck that. I'll be back. I'm not missing the birth of my child. I think that's why it's different. I think that the level of player, and especially to their country, is different. Whereas in one, like Messi says, yo, I have my son's birthday. I'm going to head out. You're like, okay. Like, I wish you wouldn't, but I get it. And then he comes back because he can do that. But you don't expect somebody of a lower level doing that. So that's why I think it's a little different.
I don't know, man. This is the World Cup, and I think we've seen already Belgium is not exactly having the best World Cup. I think that their generation, their golden generation of Lukaku, De Bruyne, it's past, correct. So you don't know if you're a Belgian player, you don't know if you're going to qualify for the World Cup again. So that's the way I see it. I don't know if they're shooing for the 2030 World Cup. I don't think they are. I think that they're proving that they're not a shoo-in. And so if you're Doku, again, I have no problem with it because I understand that these guys are people at the end of the day and they have responsibilities and families and things like that. But on the flip side, this could be a once in a lifetime thing. And if you don't qualify for the next,
your firstborn is also a once in a lifetime thing.
No, you're gonna have another baby. Come on, bro. These guys are gonna have another baby.
You don't know that,
of course.
I don't know. Look, whether you're for or against it, it's whatever. I think it's opinion. I just thought that there was this French lady that came out and said that it's disgusting, and that's when I was like, oh, come on, what the hell's wrong with you, lady? Like, I don't know if she was trying to get like clicks or whatever. It worked because people are talking about what she said, but to call it disgusting, I think is a little low. Anyway, last thing for the show today, Miami did make a signing outside of Casemiro, which they said. And by the way, the whole LA Galaxy discovery rights thing is still trying to be figured out. Discovery rights is such a stupid thing. Like, why do we still have that in the MLS? If you want to grow as a league, stop with all this nonsense. Like, I called them first. What? Like, what kind of dumb is that? Like, anyway, but he'll be in Inter Miami. It's just so dumb. They signed an 18-year-old Ecuadorian center back. Forgot his first name, last name Caicedo. You hear that last name. It's already getting
Fricio
Caicedo. So again, you hear that last name and it already gets you excited. Solana, what do you know? Because I know you have more familiarity with Ecuadorian football than I do.
Yeah, he's a very good player. If I'm not mistaken, he comes from Independiente del Valle, one of the better teams in Ecuador, a team who over the last, I want to say 5 to 10 years, has really jumped onto the scene of player development. They have put together a program down there in Independiente del Valle where they are bringing up players left and right. They are probably the factory of talent right now in Ecuador. So the fact that they went out to Independiente del Valle and were able to not only bring this player, but they were able to hijack him, like somebody in the comments said a little bit earlier, from Royal Antwerp, where a deal was already in place, goes to show you how well positioned Inter Miami is in terms of the global market, where players are choosing to come to Inter Miami, even though it's an MLS, rather than going to Europe. And yeah, I know it was just Royal Antwerp and Belgium, but still, that could be a stepping stone to get into a bigger league. And so I think it's huge for Inter Miami because it shows you, like I said, the weight that the Inter Miami name carries amongst the global market right now. And look, maybe this kid isn't going to come in and start right away or anything, but Inter Miami is finally doing the things that they need to do. They need to go out and get these younger players and develop them. And it's something that they tried to do with Toto Aviles, something that they tried to do with Federico Redondo, with Obando. Yeah, they've done it in the past, but they haven't done a great job. So I'm glad that they're not abandoning that strategy, because I think if they would just go get a bunch of veterans, that wouldn't be the right strategy. So the question that I have, Danny,
he just turned 18.
Yeah, is this an Ojos signing, or who made this decision is what I'm more curious about.
You would figure it has to be. The thing is, there's no transparency with who's pulling the strings in the front office. So who really knows? I would assume that Hoyos is still doing that, even though he's on the sideline. I would assume, as far as I know, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard about anybody taking his position.
No, he's no longer making the decisions as sporting director. There's somebody involved within that, and I know that it's a group of about 3 or 4 people that are making these decisions. What I'm curious is who scouted. Like, I want to know who scouted him, who pointed him out, and that's just me being nosy.
No, but that's fair. That's fair. Whoever it is, I hope that it wasn't the same person that scouted Obando or Toto Aviles, like you said. Even though Toto Aviles apparently is on his way back, even though we're going to try to send them back somewhere else.
That's right.
It's going to be interesting if they can do that. But he's on his way back. They're going to try to figure out a new home for him because they don't want him back here. But 6'2", 6'3", center back, just turned 18 years old. I really do hope, because if he's heading over to Belgium to be developed, I'm hoping that Miami can do their due diligence and develop him, because I'm assuming at 18 is still pretty raw. Look, Toto Aviles came at the age of 20, and everybody was like, this is a raw talent. You can make him into something, and they didn't. So I'm really hoping that that they can do it with this kid. But like you said, I'm all into the youth movement. I love that. And we'll see where that goes, because defensively, we could always use some help. All right, go ahead.
No, I wanted to address that last comment that DJ Leo sent, saying that Messi must play till the 2030 World Cup. Come on, guys. Like, I know we love, there's a lot of folks who love Messi, but come on, man. He's going to be 43 years old at the next World Cup. I know Ronaldo's 41, but give the guy a break. I mean, I think this is the last World Cup. Like, come on. Like,
I think it's the last World Cup also. I think that he retires after the Copa America in 2028. That's what I've thought. Found out that the Copa America might be in the United States again.
Yeah, it is going to be.
So I think that it kind of works out best for him, right? He finishes the season here in Miami, because the season will be ending in May that year, and then transition over to Copa America, which will also be in the United States. I think that'll be a great way for him to kind of go out. I think that that's where his career ends. Hate to say there's only 2 years left. But look, if there's anybody that can do the whole Tom Brady thing and play until 43, the way he's playing right now, because I thought that there would be a dip. Did you not expect? I feel like he's playing better this World Cup. I mean, obviously it's only been 2 matches, but I feel like he's playing better than he's played in the past.
No, I don't think he's playing better. I think he's playing just as good as he's always played. I just think
in the World Cup.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him. The last 2 performances have been insane.
Yeah, but he's been at the right place at the right time in all the goals. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, he's there, and he just puts it in. I mean,
that was the second goal for the second game.
He's one of the greatest to no, even the first one in the first game.
From outside the box, he had I think it was 2 from outside the box.
Yeah, but the goalie should have stopped the first one. I mean, it went right through his hands.
That's because it has Messi magic on the ball.
Come on, man. I'm the first one to defend Messi when he's playing for Inter Miami, but and I'm gonna say things how they are. Look, he's been at the right place at the right time, and again,
the second goal in the first game.
That's not luck. I'm not saying that it's luck. I'm just saying that he has a knack for being at the right place at the right time, and his teammates are able to find him in that space. And he's so good. This is where I pivot my take into, he's so good that even though he's at the right place at the right time, he still finds a way to put the ball in the back of the net. Something that I wish that Uruguay had, because they seem to have the shots and they can't put any away. So look, yeah, man, he's been fantastic. And it's, I don't think that he's playing better than what he would. Obviously, what if Argentina would have won the both games, but he didn't have any goals? Would you be saying the same thing? Probably not.
Man. Look at like I was telling you, one of the most impressive things of that last goal was the pass that led to that opportunity where he ended up getting the rebound. Because dude, that pass to Julian Alvarez, I think, was amazing, and nobody's talked about it because obviously Julian Alvarez didn't score, and Messi was in the right place at the right time, got into the box, and then worked his way around the defense from the right to the left side. I don't know. I think it's crazy what he's doing. Do I think he plays till 43? No. But the way he plays, the way he picks and chooses when he makes his runs, if somebody could do it, I think it's him. But I don't think he's going to do that, though. I think Copa America is going to be the end for him, which would really suck. Because you can now, at least in my mind, I can put a kind of a date on, like, I have only 2 years left to watch him, and that does suck. But I do think that's where he calls it a career in 2028.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But one thing's for sure: enjoy what you're watching now. Enjoy the World Cup. And nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't. The only thing that I think that could have that could have worked. I don't think he would have came in games in the last 20 minutes and scored. But where he would have made a difference is Uruguay's missing what in Spanish we call referente, right? They're missing that one player in the locker room that is going to command the attention. Right now, Federico Valverde is your captain, but he's not commanding that attention. He's not a traditional captain. So that's where I think Uruguay could have benefited from having Suarez on the roster. But in terms of his play, I don't think he would have made that big of a difference on the field from what we've seen so far.
No. Well, yeah, it's crazy that they drew those 2 games against Saudi, and who else was it? Saudi and
Cape Verde.
Cape Verde. That's right. Yeah. So that was crazy, but you got to go to those 2 games, so it's a very cool experience regardless for you.
Absolutely.
Solana, any final words, and let everybody know where they can find you?
No final words. I think we've said enough. I'm excited about Giannis to the Heat, man. If you haven't checked out Battered Heat fans, we have live reaction from last night. We went live at like 12:15 when the trade happened. So if we're not as excited last night, it's because we're both tired. But we still made the effort of coming on here to give you guys a live reaction. So check it out. And you can check me out at Diesel Dani.
Yeah. And like I said, if you want more morning footy, every morning we come in on Talking World Cup. So make sure that QR code that you see, one of these 2 sides, make sure that you check that out. Batter Soccer Fans, we're Talking World Cup. And Chris is finally going to be joining at some point in the next couple of days. So make sure you look out for that. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please leave 5 stars in a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're a Heat fan, watch Battered Heat Fans. If you are a Colombian soccer fan or just Colombian and you want to hear some more Colombian talk tonight, Battered Cafeteros, or actually Los Cafeteros is what we called it, for the post game after the Colombia game. So make sure you join us for that, because we'll be talking some Colombian football tonight. So make sure you join us for that. And that's about it. So until the next one, have a good one.